Good morning, everyone. So I thought this live stream would be pretty fun to do, just so you can kind of see all the things that usually go on behind the scenes. Today we are going to be working on this, and during this live stream, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. Feel free just to ask it in the chat section, and I will check. And yeah, let's get to it. So it should be a fairly fun thing to do, because this is an older instrument, and personally I like the older ones a lot better. Not only because, you know, they're more, you have the chance of circuit bending them a lot better, or a lot better chance of circuit bending them. But also, on top of that, they're just a lot easier because you're not really dealing with microcircuitry as much. And microcircuitry can definitely be a pain in the butt. As you've seen in the videos, that's why we always reinforce them when we actually get them, you know, open and everything, because the resistors will rip right off the board. So this should be a fun one. And I'm going to go ahead and prop this off because if you can see it, there's a lot of points on this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this off and kind of see what we're dealing with. Make sure this is on.
1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1.
Oh. Well, that was nice. We accidentally came right across that. Oh, that sounds beautiful. Right. Let's see. Hello, Octop. Octop also has the brain of Einstein, according to his comment. I'll go with you on that one. I'll take your word. How you guys doing this morning? So funny enough, this used to be a telephone wire. Actually, a lot of times when I go about doing circuit bending, I actually like to have this type of wire just because it's super easy to manage when it's not in a knot. But it is super easy to manage as far as like closing up instruments and doing all of that. So you just take the outside coating of either Ethernet cord wire or a telephone wire like the older ones, and they become these, which are really twisted up. They're just really good gauge wire. They're perfect for circuit bending, in my opinion. So I use these a lot. And then just be prepared during this live stream. A lot of the stuff you don't see in my vlogs is me prepping wires and, you know, doing all the exciting stuff like hooking up toggle switches and doing all that. So this time you will get to see it. Okay, let's go ahead and figure out exactly where this cord is, or where this cord's going to go. I'm running,
Two.
it's gonna be on R13.
One. Two. One. Three. One.
Okay, there we go. So it's kind of nice if you're having trouble figuring out which resistor it is. You can always kind of flip it around. And kind of touch the opposite points on this.
One.
Alright, so this is kind of giving me some mixed signals on this. So let's go ahead. We're just going to kind of solder onto this and see if we can figure out exactly which one it is by doing this. Let me prep the board a little bit better. Alright, let's just go ahead and put it on there, see what happens. Oh no, it crashed. Let's pop the batteries out. Well, that's not good. Going to desolder out of this. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what just happened there. That's really the only issue you run into with these older ones, is that sometimes they're a bit unpredictable when you start soldering onto them, and you can run into some issues pretty quick. Usually they're pretty easy, but you know, that's the fun of live streaming, is that you get to see this. I'm very surprised that this is now kind of acting a bit weird, but we'll see. And it also may be the batteries. These are also the ones I use for my Xbox controller, and unfortunately the old ones, the old toys, don't really give you a your batteries are running low signal. So we're gonna see. This is very strange. All right, just gonna swap batteries out. Oh, what the heck? All right. This is kind of interesting. I haven't fried an instrument in a very long time, so it figures I would end up doing it on a live stream if it is fried. Huh. Okay, well. Interesting stuff. All right, well, I'm just going to set this to the side. And I will be right back. I'm going to go grab something else. It's going to be a bit larger. But I was actually planning on doing this a bit different, but I don't want to bore you guys on a live stream with just trying to repair an instrument that's kind of on the fritz. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this one. Superboy, I had never seen that one either, but yeah, gave me some issues, which we'll get back to it a bit later. Hopefully I could get it back up and working, and yeah. It's kind of the circuit bending way, is sometimes things just happen. Is a live stream looking okay? I mean, it kind of looks like it's lagging a bit on my side, but I don't really know. Hey, do we have a longer Phillips head screwdriver? Yeah, this will work. Thank you. Hey, Michael's here. How you liking the new toy?
Hi, I'm Pete the piano. Let's play.
I absolutely love this thing just because of how creepy the eye movement is. It's kind of strange. It's just unique. Let's keep it singing. While I'm taking the bolts out, you can stare at the creepiness that is. So funny enough, this toy was actually, not this specific one, but Beat the Piano in general was actually one of the
That was cool. Let's play again.
first videos I ever uploaded on my channel. And later on, I actually deleted that video. And the reason I deleted it was because I was talking in it, and I guess in a what I thought at the time was kind of an amateur circuit bending way. I was like, hey, here's a
Play again.
instrument, here's what I did to it, here's what it does. And I was kind of weary a little bit later on into this channel about talking on videos. And I don't really know why, because well, it was almost because I thought, well, people are here to see the circuit bend instruments and stuff, and they don't really care about the process. It's more of the result of it. But later on, I realized, well, I would rather people know the entire process and know how to do it themselves. So where you can go out and make your own circuit bending instruments, or circuit bend instruments, and do your own circuit bending on stuff, because that's going to farther the hobby. That's going to create appreciation in the hobby. And overall, I just think it's a good thing to know. You know, I think it expands the art quite a bit more. But yeah, this is one of the first instruments that was ever uploaded onto the channel. Of course, if you see the circuit bent Pete the Piano that I did here recently, it's not exactly anywhere close as far as aesthetics or anything like that, or aesthetics. But what it was actually added a 555 timer circuit inside of it. And that's kind of what made it pretty cool, is that there was a 555, and if you're not familiar with those, it pretty much adds like an echo to it. Which I need to actually get into that here soon, is like adding external circuits inside of boards. You know, whether that be mod kits or whether that be like another instrument, because I did a collaboration with Psychotic Studios here recently, you've probably seen, and I think I called it like, I don't know, it was like I was doing it dangerously close to Five Nights at Freddy's. So I think it was called like Fazbear or something, but it's a bit different. But essentially it was two separate circuits from two different toys, all kind of bound in one. So it was pretty cool. So yeah, you can do it both ways. You can do external mod circuits, or you can do actual toy circuits, as long as they run on the same battery power. Okay. So this is one thing that I absolutely love about this toy, is how much space you actually have inside of here. You can probably see there's a bunch of space in here. I'm gonna see if I can zoom that in a bit. Yeah, you can zoom in on live stream. Nice. So that's the circuit board we're dealing with. And more than likely, our speed control is right there. It's probably R4, R5, or the one right next to it. We will confirm. Oh, might be actually that one too, R2. I did not see that one. I thought R2 was kind of lost in that maze. Let's see if I can prop you guys up over here. Looks like we have more people here. How are you guys doing this morning? It's kind of awkward. I'm not left-handed. Definitely gonna have to figure out a better way to set this in order to circuit bend it. But we do have a lot of wire lengths. So I could probably just bring it out here. Skis, I am doing well. The live stream was a bit of a crazy experience this morning. I don't know if you were here earlier, but we actually opened up an instrument, and I don't know if it's fried or what the deal is, but just so happens that, just so happens that the first instrument I possibly fry in a very long time just so happens to be in live stream. Yes, the 555 was a step oscillator. It was actually from Lo-Fi. So it was their 555 timer circuit, or timer kit. It's been a while since I actually bought anything from Lo-Fi, admittedly. But, yeah, it was their normal circuit.
Hi, I'm Pete the piano. Let's play.
And there's our R2, never letting us down. Okay, so this is pretty easy access one. We just gotta watch and make sure we don't burn the wires on this guy.
That was cool. Let's play again.
And we actually have some wires already prepped. Let's see if they're long enough. Oh yeah, that'll do. That will definitely do. And just think, when you look at this, and it sings to you,
That was cool.
just think, your parents may have been playing with this toy. Now, I don't know myself very well when I was a child, but I think this would have probably creeped me out. All right, let's go ahead and strip these wires. And that should be our tone up.
Hi, I'm Pete the piano. Let's play.
All right, let's see if we can connect them. Yep, they are connectable. So we're good. We need no resistor on this one. Let's go ahead, latch onto the ground on this.
That was cool. Let's play again. That was cool. Let's play again.
Yes, this piano is awesome. I absolutely love this type of toy. Not just because of the creepiness factor, and I've kind of found a niche inside of this hobby. I think I'm kind of the go-to creepy circuit bending guy. So if you want to see like some creepy bends, I think I'm kind of the go-to person for that at this point. Just because I've found some horror doll artists that are just great people, and then I started sticking circuit boards in there, and yeah, so that wasn't intended. In real life, I'm not at all into, like, I wouldn't say I'm not at all into scary movies, but like mass murder movies, and I don't like overall gore. So very, very strange how I kind of just ended up that, but I wouldn't say I don't like scary movies. I actually enjoy paranormal scary movies, stuff like Insidious, mostly stuff with, I would say, I don't know. I feel like the scary movie genre has just been so watered down here in the last couple of years that like everybody and their cousin makes scary movies at this point. But I would say Insidious, one of my favorite movies, weird enough, and I don't really know why, is The Woman in Black. And I'm trying to think of some other ones that I really like. While I also knock the piano sideways here. Yeah, I don't know. The Insidious series I just thought was really good. I actually made the It fish here recently, but to be honest with you, I wasn't really a fan of It the movie. It was just kind of vulgar for me. And that's another thing, is I'm not really into cussing at all. So yeah. So that was kind of a letdown for me, because the old one was actually pretty good. And I believe the old one actually did cuss and stuff, but it wasn't so over the top, whereas the new one was. In my opinion, I know that language is subjective, and it's also kind of ridiculous to get caught up on cussing and stuff, because language is simply a means of communication. So once you go beyond that, you're just complicating things. But I'm kind of a purist when it comes to language, I guess you would say. Not really. I think that there is a point where you can get kind of desensitized to stuff, and then just, yeah, I don't know. That's something you could definitely think about. But okay, so we're gonna add the toggle switch onto here. So if you've noticed, I don't know if I've shown it in any of the vlogs, but I have actually single throw, double pole toggle switches. The reason being, I actually get these on eBay. I really just go for the best deal. So you would normally want single throw, single pole for just a normal on-off switch and stuff, but it's kind of good to have that extra option. And I got them for way cheaper than the single throw, single poles. Oh, that's beautiful. All right. Yeah, we'll kind of see where we get on this. If you guys are up for it, we'll go ahead and add more stuff to this. Like, touch points would be pretty cool. At first, I thought that was giving us a little bit of a difference when I was actually touching hold of it, but seems that was mostly just because I was bumping into the other one or something.
That was cool. Let's play again.
So does anyone here have any overall questions about GhostFire Electronics, or kind of, you know, anything about me or the hobby in general, or even about this instrument? Just any questions at all. I'll pretend to be a magic 8-ball here in a minute. And then I'm also kind of curious, you know, how long you guys have known about circuit bending, or how long you've even known about GhostFire Electronics. So if you would tell me that, that would be pretty awesome. I'd be really interested in kind of knowing that. How did you get into circuit bending? Well, I got into circuit bending, well, let me think. Okay, so how I got into circuit bending is I used to do, and this is going to be kind of a long story, which I guess worked because we're going to be here for a minute. But I got into circuit bending because I was really into music. And a while ago, when I was in high school, there was this stuff called crunk core music. Looking back at it, it cracks me up because it is so awful. And not to hate on you if you listen to crunk core music, but in my opinion, like my ears have changed and it's bad. But essentially, what it was rap screamo, and I used to do that actually under a couple different band names. I should say music project names, because I was like, well, if I change the style a little bit, it has to be a new project. So I had a couple of them. My less popular ones were I Eat Dragonflies and Breathe Diamond, Candy Neptune, and I think that was about it. And I had a couple other projects with other people, but we were not any good. So you're not going to find us, anywhere. So we were not any good, but I was really into music. And then I started hearing 8-bit music. Then once I heard 8-bit music, I was pretty hooked. And I thought, this music is just absolutely amazing. So I went out and I bought a Game Boy. And my first Game Boy that I bought was on eBay. And then it was just a normal clear Game Boy. I believe it did have LEDs in it. I didn't learn how to LED mod a Game Boy until much, much later. But when I got that Game Boy, I started making music on LSD cards, or LSDJ cards. Not LSD cards, LSDJ. But I started making music off of those. And I wasn't really that good with the music, and that's kind of the reason that I don't get into 8-bit. I mean, if you want to listen to great 8-bit, people like Blood Code, stuff like that, like people blow me away. But I started getting into that, and then of course that kind of fed over into me modifying my own Game Boy, because I would see this cool mod and be like, I had this one Game Boy with pretty much no functions on it. So when I saw a tempo tone control, I thought, well, that's pretty freaking cool. And I added that to the Game Boy. And then I went about adding more to the Game Boy, and I even did like ridiculous things like mono pro sounds and, stereo pro sounds, stuff you don't really need on a Game Boy, but it was just kind of there just because I was enjoying the experimentation on the Game Boy. I think that Game Boy actually did get damaged. I know I don't have it anymore. So obviously something happened to it. I don't know if later on I sold it or what happened, but I actually have pictures of me in Gatlinburg with that Game Boy, like a while ago. But yeah, it was years and years ago. I think I've been doing this since probably about 2011. So it was while I was in high school I actually started circuit bending, and of course, you tell your friends you circuit bend and stuff, it's not really a, hey, go check this guy out. It's kind of like, oh, that's a bit weird, but it's yeah, so I got into it through music. And then I started modifying these and actually selling them to people. And then I started a YouTube channel probably, I would say like 6 or 7 months into circuit bending. I was in it for quite some time because YouTube really wasn't that popular. I mean, this was the days that Smosh were still around, and that was what we had on YouTube, and that's really all we knew about it. So you would have these funny videos and stuff coming up, but it wasn't really so publicized as it is today. It's not, everybody's on YouTube. It's just there's certain creators. So it was some time before I started posting onto YouTube, and I originally did it just because I wanted a place to remember the instruments before I sold them. So I would upload the videos of the instruments onto YouTube, and yeah, so that, in my mind, almost eternalized them, at least through my life, so I could always look back at them and say, hey, I did this. So right, so that sounds really, really good. Okay, so I'm going to check inside this bag and see if I have any touch points in here that we can add on to it. We've got a lot of space for touch points, so I don't think we should have any issues. As long as I have the bolt for it.
Cool. Let's play again.
Pete's definitely up for it. Alright, I have one gold touch point, which will be great because we'll use that as the middle.
That was cool. Let's play again.
There we go. Okay. Sorry, no, I'm off camera. I'm just prepping wires. Okay. This is being a pain in the butt to solder onto. There we go. Cool. Got it set up. Alright, so these are going to be for our touch points here. Alright. And I think I'm going to go ahead and install the touch points, just so they're kind of out of the way. what has been your favorite project so far? It's a good question. My favorite project. I would have to say, and I know it's been a while ago, but it was just such a unique opportunity. I would have to say the Teletubbies that I did. And if you haven't seen them, essentially what I did was I collected all the Teletubbies, and I think I had to order one of them, but I went to the flea market, and then the flea market had all the Teletubbies there. And I was able to buy them up pretty much in a group at a acceptable rate. I mean, it wasn't anything crazy. And that kind of gave me the opportunity. I think I had to order Dipsy, if I remember correctly, which is the green one. I'm pretty sure that's its name. If not, it's the green one. But I think I had to order that one online, and that one was actually quite a bit expensive compared to the others. Like, I think that one cost just as much as all three of them. So it was yeah, I mean, it was just a really cool opportunity, and I really enjoyed it. So I would say that's probably my favorite project that I've done so far. And it was just because I got to do all four of them. And one kind of funny thing is that if you even look back, they are really unstable. So they're really unstable instruments, and even when there's no electricity running through them, they seem to kind of malfunction and do weird things and kind of just die overall. So by the end of that whole expedition, the yellow one, it was not functioning as well as it was originally. But luckily enough, I mean, we have videos on all of them, and yeah, it's been doing great. So that would probably be my favorite instrument, or favorite project so far. Now, if you were to do, like, favorite single project, I would say probably the yellow Teletubby. Just because if you haven't seen it, I mounted a knife on it. I thought it was really funny. That one ended up selling on eBay because I did a V2 version of it, which was just funny enough. The same flea market, a different vendor had one, so I went ahead and bought it, and then just redid the knife thing by kind of re-putting it on. And yeah, that would probably be my favorite one because it was just so out there. You know, who would put a knife on a toy? I don't know, but apparently me. So yeah, that would probably be my favorite. I love the smiley faces, Yelty. Love it. What do your neighbors, parents, and friends think of you getting horde of kids' toys and circuit bending them? I don't talk to my neighbors too much. Yeah, so I'm not exactly, I would say I'm more introverted. I know a lot of people say that, but for the most part, I just kind of do my own thing. As far as like family and stuff, I don't know. Nobody really seems to mind. I've always been kind of artistic, and you know, people are like surprised when they first hear it because circuit bending is such a thing that nobody really knows what it is. But once you explain it and you kind of show them that on YouTube and stuff, you're like, hey, I'm making musical instruments and stuff. Then I think it kind of makes sense in a way that there's musical artists out there. And one example I always use is like, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Beck actually used a circuit bent, I think it was a speak and spell or speak and read on stage. So when you tell somebody like, oh yeah, well, you know, musicians like Beck use it, then they kind of grasp it a little bit better. I think if I were to just go ahead and do like, hey, you know, somebody asks about hobbies or something, if I were to go ahead and forefront and go, oh yeah, I take like horror dolls and stick instruments in them and stuff, here's a picture of it, I think it'd probably go about, you know, a little bit different. But for the most part, I don't think they think much of it. If anything, it's just kind of an artistic outlet. So, I don't know. Yeah, Rupert, if you're talking about the Pete the Piano, then yeah, we are going to try to recreate that one. And if not better it just a little bit. Now there's you're kind of limited to what you can do in this thing, but yeah. Oh, the Teletubby. Yeah. The Teletubbies I just think were pretty cool. Sorry, I think I got to your comment a bit late. So now it seems like there's a bit more people here. How long have you guys actually like known about circuit bending, or, you know, followed circuit bending as a hobby, or I guess even did it as, you know, bend circuit benders, if this is something that you guys do? Gonna have to resolder this point. So if you guys haven't seen how I do my touch points, this is the easiest way I find about doing it. I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit closer here for you guys to see. So I literally just wrap the wire around the point, or whatever I'm gonna use as the touch point, and make this kind of loop thing. Then I go ahead and solder it. And then I just kind of screw it on there, almost like if it was a washer. I've done a lot of touch points in my time, and this is always the way that I found to be a bit easier. I've tried soldering onto them. I've tried just kind of crushing them in with a bolt. But this, to me, is honestly like the best way to do it that I found. You know, not saying that, you know, your ways of doing it are not better. Just this is the best way I found doing it personally. I've known about circuit bending since I was 7 or 8. Well, how old are you now? Because that could be a lot of years, or that could be like not too many years. Guy on Vine showed me the lick the finger trick. Yeah, that is a proven amazing method. Yeah, that's still what I do. It just seems easy, and it's awesome. And on Vine, so you've been at this for a while, because they shut Vine down a while ago. If it's the Vine I'm thinking of, if you're talking like Vine videos. Yeah. And I understand the down the rabbit hole, yeah, for sure. This kind of this stuff is kind of addicting in a way. It's just cool to do. I like it. I'm old too, my friend. I'm old too. I've known about it for a couple years. I tend to break instruments quite often. Yeah, well, you should have been here earlier. If you notice, the thumbnail's totally different. We started out on an instrument, and I haven't fried an instrument in I don't know how long. But, of course, I opened this one up, and I literally solder onto it like one point to add the speed control, and all of a sudden it just doesn't respond anymore. I'm like, well, it just so figures, you know, it figures since I'm on live stream, this is going to happen. So that's why we're now on Pete the Piano. But I don't know enough about live streaming that I would be able to go ahead and switch it or anything like that. So maybe later on we'll edit it. I don't know. Or just leave it up, because it's kind of funny. And I guess me telling you about it wouldn't make much sense in the future if I edited that out. So Yeah. So if you're watching this in the future, I hope you skip that first like 10 minutes.
Hi, I'm Pete the piano. Let's play. Twinkle, Mammy, twinkle, he plays. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the wonderland, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Alright, so we got touch points installed. We also have a tempo tone control installed. So I'm going to go ahead and test out our options on adding the... I believe the first one I did, I actually latched onto the motor. That can be a bit risky if you're running LEDs off a motor.
That was cool.
So I'm going to go ahead and test out our options for running it off the sound. Yeah, that's perfect. Love it. Don't like red too much. What are you guys feeling as far as color on LEDs? It's weird. That looked color changing, but it's not apparently. So we got blue color changing and okay, so yeah, you've known about circuit bending for about 10 years. That's a good amount of time. I think that's actually, yeah, that's longer than I've even been a circuit bender, so that's impressive. Okay, so I'm going to try some color changing LEDs because that kind of covers blue, but I'm pretty sure that was just a color changing LED I tried, and it's just giving me red, so we may end up going with blue.
I'm Pete the piano. Let's play.
Well, I don't know. That's actually pretty cool looking right there. So, let me see if I can get that closer. You know what? I'll just solder onto it. So this is a fast changing color LED. And actually it looks pretty cool. It's kind of like a whitish blue. I'm going to give myself plenty of wire here.
That was cool. Let's play again.
I love how positive this instrument is. I'm actually in the middle of circuit bending an instrument. I had to clear off the table in order to do this live stream, but I'm actually in the process of circuit bending an instrument.
That was cool.
But I swear to you, like, the thing, you know how you like press a button on an instrument sometimes and then they give you, I guess, like sound after, you know, that instrument has made that initial sound. Okay, well, this instrument's initial sound is very sad sounding. And I'm like, I know I'm going to get crap for this when I upload this to YouTube. Like, there's going to be those comments like, oh man, he sounds sad. Because, I don't know. If you ever see my Furby videos, they just get toasted with comments of like, sort of negativity. Just kind of like, oh, this is really cruel. Like, they're not alive, I swear. So yeah, I'm sure that's coming, and also it's an instrument that you're gonna know very, very well, as far as like the character. And I don't want to run it, but so yeah, so people have some emotional attachment to it as well. It just so happens to sound really, really sad. But it was in a circumstance where there's literally nothing else I can do to it, or I can really do for it, because it was actually found inside of a house that I'm helping renovate, and the house was just absolutely destroyed. Everything inside of it was destroyed. Weird enough, we found a bunch of different plush dolls that are really old, and this was among them. And it's bad enough that, like, there's literally holes eaten inside of the fur and stuff of these animals, and, like, I shouldn't say animals, inside of these plush dolls. Like, I don't know if there was some stuff burrowing inside there or what the deal is, but I didn't find any bugs, thankfully. But, yeah, I kind of feel like I'm doing it a service by circuit bending it and cleaning it up quite a bit. It's not fun stuff. Obviously, you want clean instruments and all that, but in a way, I kind of feel bad for it, and I'm like, no, you need to become something, because if I donate you or do anything like that, you're just going to become trash.
Hi,
So.
I'm Super Piano. Let's play.
How are you feeling about that? Kind of looks, it looks different in the camera than it actually does in person. Like, quite a bit different. I'm also willing to bet this color changing is going to be really, really cool when we drop the tone. Bit interesting. I'm almost thinking that's not bright enough, though. May go ahead and try to explore some other options for this, for the positive. Well, that is really cool. I don't know if that's going to be our sound out LED, but that is really cool. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's actually latched onto this wire right here. And the tone is actually going higher when the LED just kind of randomly kicks on. So that is super cool. And I think I'm going to be marking that. So we got second from back black wire.
That was cool. Let's play again.
See, and always so positive. Love it. So we've made quite a bit of progress here. We've been live about an hour. Probably been working on this instrument for, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes or so. So yeah, I think pretty good progress. It is absolutely freezing out here anymore. I'm in Ohio, and today it's supposed to be 57, which is great. That's fantastic, and then it's supposed to drop back down into 20s, which makes no sense whatsoever, but yeah, I'm hoping to actually get some hiking in today. So I don't know if you've ever hiked in 20-degree weather, but as you can imagine, it's not too much fun. I'm currently working on, I think this is the only vlog that I've never done like the week of, but I actually have, I'm trying to get together some like footage of some mushroom finds and stuff like that, and just exploring this lake around my house that's just an absolute gorgeous area. So I'm trying to get all of that together, and I'm going to end up mixing it all together and kind of just like hiking and exploring this lake. But in 20-degree weather, it's not great. I think when I started it, essentially what happened was I forgot that I even had it on my phone, and somebody else kind of joined in on the hike, so we ended up not recording all of it. But yeah, it's been brutal out here, so I'm hoping to get that vlog up here soon. If not, maybe I'll just go like extra footage and we'll just do that one week. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Let me check that one more time. I didn't hear the pitch changing on that one. actually going to latch onto a couple more of these because it seems like, and I'm also going to add a toggle switch. Well, if this one's not doing anything, I think we're good. Make sure all the buttons work. Sometimes when you latch onto some of this stuff, the buttons stop functioning, so we're going to make sure. Yeah, I think we're good. You should take some instruments on the hike. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I've got a lot of ideas that are kind of hard to do. And yeah, so I'll tell you this one idea that I was actually talking over with another circuit bender. Or you know what? I was actually talking over with Psychotic Studios. I've got this one idea that I want to do. And this is actually hard because I live in an apartment. So I don't think they're going to take kindly to me hanging stuff on the ceiling. But I want to get a bunch of dolls that are circuit bent. And I want to get them so where they're like pretty much all on the same button activation. So it wouldn't be hard to do theoretically. But I want to run 1/4 jacks up to a ceiling. And I want to hang all of them onto the ceiling and have them glitching out all at the same time. Also with the strobe light. So it'll just be a bunch of dolls hanging from the ceiling, glitching out, all in sequence. And yeah, then you could just kind of walk a camera through. And I thought that would be super cool. But I'm not very, very, very wealthy. And I'm not very wealthy with time either. So that's kind of where I run into an issue. But I thought that'd be super cool to do. Then...
Hi, I'm Pete the Piano. Let's play.
I'm just really not happy with how bright that is. Oh, there we go, man, I solved it. They're just giving us a lot of really cool LED stuff. Yeah, but as far as like taking them into the woods and stuff, I guess it depends on the reasoning. I wouldn't just take them into the woods just to have them, but I don't know. If it was like for a video or something, I think it would be pretty cool to do like a circuit bending video out in the woods. That'd be pretty cool. But I really like hiking just because it kind of gets out there with nature and stuff. And when you get to know some plants that are edible, it gets a lot funner. So you kind of get to go out and eat a snack while you're hiking and stuff. And it's just really cool to find stuff and kind of provide for yourself out in the wild. So that's mainly why I actually do it. So that's really cool. I don't know if you guys can't see that. Let me hook this up and then I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Somehow the camera's kind of got at an angle. Sorry about that.
That was cool. Let's play again.
It'd be amazing if somebody invented a soldering iron that was both safe and could instantly heat up. I don't think those two things could be the same, but it would be awesome if they did. These things take a while. Alright, so solder 2 points together. Alright, we're running into some problems now. That's pretty cool. So we'll just pretend we don't hear the weird static going on here. We've actually soldered these 2 points together, and it seems like there's quite a bit of solder on here. I have to get closer to this.
That was cool. Let's play again.
Alright. I'm gonna get a needle nose pair of pliers and try to shimmy these guys off here. So I got a little too much solder on this, and the wires
Play again.
merge together. So the easiest way I know about doing this is going ahead and pulling this off. If you have a desoldering iron, it helps a lot. I have one somewhere, but I'm not quite sure where it's at, which is a really good place for it. There we go. See if I can get this out just a bit farther. Nope, it's kind of stuck in there. Let's see if it's still giving us that. Nope, nothing. It's a really hard gap to solder into. There we go.
Hi, I'm Pete the piano. Let's play.
Okay, there we go. Now we have these 2 LEDs. So pretty cool stuff. More than likely what these LEDs are is they are up here, latched onto these LEDs. But I haven't tracked them up. I haven't found them. I may be wrong on that. Regardless, super cool effect and definitely worth mounting and putting up front. But we are still left type of LEDs to mount inside of the eyes. I personally don't think these LEDs are the ones that we should be mounting on the eyes, just because they kind of flick on and off. Whereas like when you're doing eye LEDs, and there are other LEDs on the board, you want them to be pretty consistent. At least in my opinion. Take everything I say subjectively. Okay, well that might work right there. I feel like it's... Can you guys see all right? Because I feel like it's kind of far away. But I'm afraid if I move it closer, it's going to be kind of it's going to be like so close up that you guys are going to miss a lot. Can you guys see all right though? Alright, I'm going to zoom in. There's an LED on my mouth, but I'm going to zoom in. So you can kind of see this. So what I'm going to be doing here, I hope I can hold this right. So you have this point right here, which we have, I think, 3 wires connected to the speaker and 2 others. Yeah, so the speaker and 2 other wires. But if you look, this track actually runs down into this point right here. So I'm going to go ahead and solder the side of the LED onto this. This is going to act as a sound activated because our ground is still on the sound on the speaker. And then we're going to feed it up through this other one right up here. So at least give us some consistency. I think the other one may be something to do with the motor. Maybe like pre-motor in the board. I don't know. I'm not really sure what it is, but it's given us enough energy that this LED is acting correctly. It's doing exactly what we want it to do. Okay, so does anyone have any questions or anything for me to talk about? I guess that would be a good way to go at this point because it's going to take a minute to do this. But what would you guys like to talk about? Sometimes I do put resistors on LEDs. It's definitely the safe bet. On color changing, a lot of times I don't. I might on these just because you get that extra protection. But I know like on Game Boy LEDs I automatically do. I think I put 100Ks on... Oh, wait. Yeah, I think it's 100Ks you put on. I have it written down somewhere. But on Game Boy LEDs you always put 100Ks on. Just because there is that extra protection. If you don't, they still work, but they're going to go out eventually. So I always kind of use that theory on other instruments as well that, you know, just better safe than sorry. You don't want to have to open up the instrument later on, and you definitely don't want to sell it on eBay and the person, you know, come back like, oh yeah, the LEDs, the reason I bought it, they went out. So very often I do. Color changing seems to act a bit better, and they don't seem to go out as easy. But I probably will on this one just because they are quite bright. I don't know if you've seen them, but they are quite bright. So when I actually like hook them up and everything, I am gonna like test some resistors.
Let's play. There's so many plays one, he plays six and on my side.
had this. Oh, sorry. I left you guys zoomed in there. See, instant soldering iron would be amazing right now.
That was cool. Let's play again. Hi, I'm Pete the piano. Let's play.
Another idea that I've been kind of kicking around, that mostly I don't feel like I have enough time to do, but I may work on it in kind of small increments and you may see it in the future, but I'm not making any promises on that. I want to start taking songs and then doing circuit bent instrument covers of those songs. And in my head, it's pretty elaborate, so you do like piano rhythms and stuff like that, and you actually make it instruments. I think that would be super, super cool. Which I've actually done some Zelda music on the elephant piano in there. But it's not elaborate enough that I think it would be really worth watching. So, yeah, I may try to work some more instruments into that. Still also kind of working on all of that as a idea as well. So, and the reason being is because circuit bent instruments are quite unpredictable. So, you know, they're not going to glitch in sequence or do anything like that. So maybe I'd have to put a bunch of different videos together. I've seen that done with some music covers before. One person playing an instrument, putting a bunch of different ones together. Currently, I don't know how to go about doing that. I use Filmora for all of my video editing and stuff, and I don't believe that's an option. But then again, I'm not a pro video editor, so it very well may be. I don't know.
Hi, I'm Pete the piano. Let's play.
Well, this one's acting kind of... Let me just add a really small LED or resistor on this one. 2K, and there we go. This should work. So it's not actually wanting to work with or with a resistor on it. I mean, this is really low. This is a 33 ohm, but it is not working. So we're just gonna skip it for now and run these guys in parallel. Let me try that again. Should be able to pull this off. Yeah, I think the music cover thing, that would be fantastic video just in general. But it's kind of like doing that video is going to be a bit hard. Especially my time's pretty limited. I mean, a lot of times I struggle just like making the vlogs and stuff, so yeah, I don't know. It's definitely something I'm thinking about in the near future. But no promises. Not yet, at least. Trying to figure out what a good resistance on this would be to keep it from heating up, because I think that this is going to be on almost non-stop while the instrument's on. Okay, so that'll work well. Okay, so that's perfect.
Hi, I'm the piano. Let's play.
And I very well may start that out with a Legend of Zelda. Admittedly, like, I haven't mapped it out or did anything like that. But Legend of Zelda songs are just so easy to play on like pianos and just circuit instruments in general that it may be worth doing. But I know they do get a little bit elaborate when you get towards the end of the song, obviously out of like character range of playing. They get a little bit more elaborate. So haven't worked that out yet, but they're just fun songs and you kind of, they're nostalgic. So. And I am going to run these resistors separate. I think I may have cut a little too much wire here, but I guess it's better I cut more than not too much, because it's kind of a pain to go ahead and add extensions to stuff. Oh yeah, auditions for the touring band. Yeah, we'll get that together. I'll let you know a date on that one. Yeah, circuit instruments in music in general are just, I don't know, they're daring. Bravo to the people that actually like do all that stuff and do it live. Like, it's absolutely crazy that, because you don't know really what circuit instruments are doing. They're so just volatile on like their performance. Sometimes they'll crash, sometimes they'll be sturdy, sometimes they just do things that you don't expect them to do. I mean, there are those instruments that you learn to trust and you just kind of know they're doing their thing, but they're still, I don't know. Hats off to the people that do that type of stuff. I think it's absolutely super cool. And it is quite different in a way, because if you think about it, it's like, it's not something that you can rehearse your normal song. So like when you make a music album, that's going to be that unique album, and it's never going to be able to be redone on a circuit bent instrument if you're using the actual circuit bent functions, just because they do change so rapidly that You know, it's never going to get to be redone. So that's kind of cool. It's like a unique timestamp. I'm sure you can hear the plane. We actually live right near a plane strip. Which I don't know how in the world they send so many planes out, because it's literally a dirt strip. But it's pretty interesting. So they always fly over our house, just like crop dusting planes. But they are quite loud. I don't mind them. I think they're pretty freaking cool. It's actually one of the perks, I think, of living out here, is you just get to see planes, and that's a pretty cool thing. No real reason why it is. It just is, in my opinion. Maybe it's the accomplishments of man. You get to see that. Trying to get this to hold over here in camera view, but it's not really wanting to. There we go. So really funny stuff. When I was actually in high school, if you remember earlier in the live stream, if you were here, I actually started circuit bending while I was in high school due to music and stuff. Well, when I was actually circuit bending in high school, the Air Force took interest in me, and they had a recruiter talking to me trying to get me to join the Air Force and do electronics in the Air Force. Well, I am a circuit bender, but everybody had told them that I was really, really smart about electronics and stuff. So he's like, yeah, you can work on planes. You can do stuff like that and do these electronic experiments, you know, in the Air Force for us. And my immediate thought was, that's dangerous. Because I'm a circuit bender. I literally get in an experiment with electronics and make them do things they're not supposed to do. So I don't know if I should really be the person working on planes. But yeah, I ended up not joining the Air Force. But yeah, I just thought it was really funny that they were kind of pursuing me to try to get to join the Air Force as a circuit bender. I don't think they quite understood what I do. Okay, so that looks pretty good, in my opinion, as far as eyes. I'm pretty positive this is the first pizza piano that I've added color changing LEDs to. I don't know. I think this is a third or fourth one I've done. Every time I see one of these things, I buy it. Just because I know the potential that these things have. And they're always so freaking cool when you get them done. Right now I'm taking the front piece off so we can actually like mount the LEDs. I think I need to take this off. It's also really cool because this is almost like a, it's something that I've done quite a few times. So it's really cool to go ahead and do another one and kind of see how far you've progressed. I don't think that adding onto an instrument quite gives the same, I don't know, the same confidence, I guess you'd say. Whereas like redoing an instrument entirely and going, oh, well, this is what I did, and this is the one that I did now, I think it does give quite a bit of a confidence boost. So lets you kind of know where you're at and how far you've actually come in circumventing. All right, so these are the little creepy eyes. And let me go ahead and solder this one so it doesn't come off. I'm telling you, man, somebody makes an instant soldering iron, I'll be your first customer. Let me know. But you just got to make sure it doesn't blow up at the same time. I feel like explosions could happen on instant soldering irons.
That was cool. Let's play again.
But Pete's okay with the explosion. So maybe he should be your first customer. I don't know. How are your plants doing? Plants are doing good. The ladybugs actually did really, really well. I mean, they clear aphids out.
Play again.
Just, I mean, it's mind-blowing how fast they eat aphids. And they're looking a lot better. There are some that did get wiped out by the aphids. I was actually planning on starting the live stream in the plant room today, but I didn't get it cleaned up in time. And by cleaned up, I mean the aphids killed some of the plants. So I need to really go through and figure out which ones I'm keeping and which ones, well, really which ones are savable. But I mean, we're still producing peppers. And yeah, in the citrus tree, we have probably pronouncing this wrong, but Calamandan orange that's producing. The issue is that when citrus trees first start producing, I read that they take absolutely forever to first produce. And this one is proving it. I mean, it's had oranges on it for a very, very long time, but they are still green. And they have not oranged up yet, so we haven't been able to eat them. Well, I shouldn't say we haven't been able to eat them. I've been limiting them. So limiting your plant is pretty much pulling the flowers off or pulling the other oranges off so it can kind of focus its energy in on one or two oranges. And I've actually limited it quite a few times and it just keeps flowering. But it has a couple really big oranges on it, which I'll actually show you really quick. Just to kind of break up the monotony of doing this, I'll go ahead and show you that real quick. Set my phone up. Alright. Place is an absolute mess because I've got crap everywhere, but so I needed to get up and stretch anyway. So this is the Calamandan orange tree. So I've got a growing light out here and stuff, but see if I can track down. So there's one orange back there that looks like it's actually changing color a bit. So put in reference. That's how big it is. And we've got quite a few, so I didn't limit it. You see one back there. And it keeps growing these little tiny ones everywhere. So, yeah, so this is a baby orange. You can kind of see it. You can see it becoming an orange. We've also got some pepper plants mixed in there as well. But yeah, so I limit it. So what I do exactly is I pull these oranges off and then I literally just eat them. So they don't taste sweet. They actually taste quite awful. But helps the plant and I don't really mind the taste. It's kind of like just fresh, if that makes any sense. It's a fresh taste, a fresh citrusy taste, but just not sweet. Plug the phone back up. So Pete's having some eye issues, but I may drill this. I may need to mark this before I drill it. No, I think we're good. I'll go ahead and drill it out. Oh yeah, we're gonna do a pilot on this one. Okay. Kind of afraid we're gonna scratch this up, so I'm gonna drill it like this. I'm hoping Pete doesn't end up super cross-eyed. We'll see. Kind of let it roll on this one. Oh, he definitely did. All right. Okay, we'll see if we can move that over a bit. Oh, I didn't know that was removable. Okay. The things you learn. I don't have enough hands right now. Alright, trying to find my step up bit. Okay. Alright, let's check and see what we have here. Yeah, that looks like it'd be perfect. What if we put the eyes in upside down? What that would look like? Oh, that looks weird. That looks super weird. I think we might keep that. What do you guys think? That's super strange looking. Here, we'll put them side by side. Kind of see. Mix and match on Pete's eyes. Yeah, I think upside down. You guys think so too? That's cool. We'll do it upside down. That's a bit different. Okay. I think I forgot to start my hot glue up. No, I just don't have a hot glue in it. Okay. Sorry, just looking for my electrical tape here. I need to electrical tape these LEDs before I actually go about mounting them. I think that is going to look super nice. Okay. We have electrical tape. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Do you guys know anything about live streaming? Like, would I be able to change everything later on? As far as like, we started on something totally different and then now we're on Pete the Piano. So would I be able to change that later on, or is that something I'm kind of stuck with? And holy crap, Pete the Piano without eyes is just insanely creepy. All right. We are good there. Let's go ahead and hot glue this in. Yeah, eventually if the channel gets big enough and stuff, I want to start doing like Q&As once a month. Or do something like that. And if you guys have any ideas, any content you'd like to see on this channel, just let me know. And I'll see what I can do. Some of the content's a little out of grasp for me, but some of it's definitely doable. And I've been kind of brainstorming on the different types of content that we could do on this channel. Just that would be kind of fun. And I've been having an absolute blast with this channel ever since I started the vlogs and stuff. Because, now I can post pretty much like just fun stuff. And yeah, it's been an absolute blast. I've absolutely loved it so far. So much better than just, hey, circuit bending, and that's absolutely it. So it's been great. Okay. Pete's not looking super well. For us, he's looking super well, but not so much in Pete's world, I guess. Let's see if we can try to figure out if we have to trim the wires or trim the stuff at all before we put this back on. Don't think so. I think we're good. trim this so you guys can see it a bit better. Okay, that should work.
I'm Pete the piano. Let's play. Bristol man, he plays one. He plays it just by myself with an express. I like to bring up the ball. Bristol man, keep moving on. Bristol man, he plays it. He plays it just
So I'm not a fan of messing with motors, and with the LED eyes, we kind of have to do that on this guy, but it's okay, we'll figure it out. Absolutely love your vlogs. What has been your favorite one so far? Thank you a ton for that. My favorite vlog so far. I know the one recently, I think it's because the title got a lot of attention. But actually, surprisingly, me releasing 15,000 or 1,500 bugs inside of my growing room would have not been my favorite one. My favorite one has to be, at this point, the Mackinac Island one. And the reason being is Mackinac Island is just an amazing place. It was a lot of fun to be at. And it was just really fun. And I thought that would be a really cool experience to kind of document and share. And I use document very loosely. But I thought it would be a very nice experience to kind of go about and share. So that would probably be my favorite one at this point.
Hi, I'm Pete the piano. Let's play.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out. So I feel like we're missing a piece here. But I know I didn't take any more pieces off, so I'm just not seeing the solution as of yet.
That was cool.
Yeah, so I'd have to say, as far as like favorite vlogs, it would have to be Mackinac Island. Okay, let me lift this guy up, because I feel like, okay, we're definitely missing a piece. That makes more sense. Nope. Alright. I was trying to figure out how exactly that was running and moving anything, because it didn't seem logical.
That was cool. Let's play again.
So I am curious though, what's been your guys' favorite vlog so far? One thing I'm going to go ahead and do right here is I'm going to trim this wire down. It's going to give us a little bit more room to play with here. I don't know why in the world I just did that. Sometimes you just do things and logically, looking back, don't make sense. And that's one of those things that I need to feed it through here, and I don't know why I didn't. Mackinac Island. I love traveling. Okay, awesome. Yeah. We share the same vlog. Nice. Yeah, that place is super cool if you've never been. It's fantastic. My only complaint about Mackinac Island, which if you do your research, you will find this very, very easily, which it wasn't as bad as the research led me to believe. And I'll be upfront with you on that one. It was not as bad as I thought it would be. But Mackinac Island is actually nicknamed Horse Poop Island. And the reason being is because there are no vehicles on Mackinac Island. If you go out there, there's no motorized vehicles. Aside from planes. There is a plane strip, which you've seen in my vlog. But there's no motorized vehicles. So, like, literally, and I would also say, like, yeah, I don't think we saw any golf carts or anything, but for some reason I feel like we did. But there's no motorized vehicle, so everybody's taking a bike, or everybody's walking, or everybody's taking a horse. And quite a few people take horse-drawn carriages. Then, spawns the name Horse Poop Island. And we did quite a bit of research on that, and we were like, whoa, geez, man, we're going to go out there and it's just going to smell just god-awful the entire time and all that. But we went ahead and risked it and actually enjoyed it. Like, it was a lot of fun. I mean, there were some spots that were a bit rough, but for the most part, if you're like us, we kind of stayed. Like, we did explore the woods in Mackinac Island. Believe it or not, there's actually non-populated areas there. And that was really, really fun, and it was really cool just because they kind of have their own ecosystem on that island. So it's not like, there's not too many edible mushroom species on the island that we found. But it is really cool that there is kind of its own ecosystem. And you can't really, I don't know, I was trying to think, like, how would you even get stuff over there? And I imagine, like, the spores and stuff got over there by birds or, by horses or something like that. But there's, like, their own mushroom species over there and stuff. And it's not something you wouldn't find in, I guess you would say, the mainland, but you would find it here. It's unique finding it over there just because it's kind of its own thing and you're kind of out there a bit. So, yeah. Really cool travel. I'd recommend it.
Hi, I'm Pete the piano. Let's play. Ding dong dang, ding dong, ding 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 dong 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 dong, ding 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 dong 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 dong, ding dong ding ding dong ding dong, ding dong dang, ding ding ding, ding 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 dong 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 dong, ding 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 dong 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 dong, ding dong ding ding dong ding dong.
So we seem to have gotten a weird resistance buildup or something on this.
That was cool. Let's play again.
I'm going to move this down. I realized you guys can't really see what I'm doing here. So what's going on with this now is that there's a break or something going on that's causing the LED to flicker out while the other one's still on. And what we're looking for is a steady LED on this one. So I believe that's the problem right there. And while you guys are here, if you could go ahead and hit the like button, that would be fantastic. And if you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe. But just let me know what you guys think of live streams. It may be something I do in the future a bit more, and I may be a bit more prepared for it. Well, I will definitely, if I ever do another live stream, I will be more prepared for it. But I thought it would be kind of fun to go ahead and try with you guys and just see if it's something you guys like doing. And yeah. So here we are. So just go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you aren't subscribed already, and tell me what you think of the live streams. Okay, that looks like it's still kind of flickering out. So what we're going to do is we're going to shorten that wire a bit more and try to get a better connection on it. Well, weird enough, it just seems to be doing that now, so I don't think our problem is over here. I think it's actually over here. I'm gonna find my razor blade real quick. Let's open this up and see. So I'm pretty sure our issue is right here, and that's why it's flickering out. We're going to go and solder onto this a bit more. Reinforce it a bit better. There we go. This reminds me of Christmas lights. I actually like it a lot. I'm actually pretty stoked on Christmas this year. It seems like every single year, I'm always like, I'm going to go to every single haunted house in this area. And then I end up going to like one or two. Just by one means or another, I just end up only going to one or two separate haunted houses. I don't know, they're just not super thrilling. It's almost, as an adult, you almost look at haunted houses and just go, well, that was pretty cool, or that one wasn't that good. It's never really that thrill that you're looking for, or even anticipate, 2 months prior to Halloween. But Christmas is always a lot of fun, just because you have the Christmas lights and stuff, and they're awesome. So we do go to a lot of Christmas lights, and I also think it has something to do with the timing. Halloween isn't as anticipated as Christmas is. I mean, they're already getting ready for Christmas in Ohio, and we've got Christmas stuff everywhere. It's like, even before Halloween, I think it was. Trying to get this back on track. Okay, that should be good right there.
That was cool. Let's play again. That was cool. Let's play again.
Right, and I seem to have lost a bolt somewhere. Yep. Okay, we're not going to worry too much about that, because it's not of vital importance. Oh, actually there it is. That works.
Hey, I hit the piano. Let's play.
Okay, so I'm gonna mount these two LEDs, and I think I am gonna be out of here, and you're gonna be seeing this up tonight. So I'm gonna mount these two LEDs. Definitely love the live stream. Thank you.
That was cool. Let's play again.
I'm thinking both sides of these would be really good to have LEDs. Maybe a bit lower than eye level.
That was cool. Let's play again.
All right, so does anybody have any questions or anything they want to talk about this probably last 5 or 10 minutes? And I do want to thank everybody for actually tuning in, and I want to thank everybody who really supports the channel. The last couple of months, I've had an absolute blast with this channel, and it's been really, really fun. And you know, a lot of the fun comes from you guys and just, you know, seeing the support that this is actually bringing, and you know, the questions that I'm receiving, like. So if you haven't already, if you ever have any circuit bending questions, feel free to contact me, and I'll help out as best as I can. And, you know, thank you so much for just supporting the channel in general. I'm gonna tilt this out of your way real quick here. And that's about even. I'm trying to make the LEDs pretty even here.
Hi, I'm Pete the Piano. Let's play.
That looks nice. All right. So I think that is it for me for now. And I'm going to get this guy put back together. I'm going to get everything put back on. And I want to thank you guys for streaming into the live stream. I hope you guys had fun. Yeah. Thank you so much. And, you know, looking forward to hearing from you guys again. Again, if you have any questions or anything, or really any recommendations, feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to let me know. And again, I appreciate you guys. Hope you have a great day. Thanks.